then it will be consecutive. When we were studying in Spain last year, me and Matt and Dan were kind of impressed with how much political stuff was going on campus. They were always having chats and demos and strikes, and kind of felt that English students were a bit more apathetic and that we might be able to do something to change it, and that we decided that's what we wanted to put our energy into doing.
Last year in Spain we realised that at the university lots of things could be done, and we mixed this with our personal interests regarding what we're buying every day and what companies are doing every day, and we thought that we could both learn a lot because there's so much to be learned.
I know Dan from anthropology, and he gave me a flyer for the Conscious Consumer Society. I signed up for the mailing list and I went to the meetings.
We decided to do it as a society because it gives you access to more facilities and stuff on campus. It actually gives you sort of the option of being able to brand stuff with the Kent Union logo, and you can, there's lots more facilities you can access basically as a society. And it's also just a really nice social networking event. We said, when Matt and Dan were first setting up the society, we sort of said, well, what's this going to do? And at the very least, it's going to bring some people together with the same ideas, and it's definitely what it's done. I mean, it's really nice to meet up with some people every week that are actually concerned about things, and that don't just, laugh at you when you talk about these maybe petty issues that we don't see as so petty, It's very encouraging, and I think the support, really makes people believe that things are possible. I think we're very, very accepting of people having different ideas. I think anyone that's brought up different ideas, but some people just don't like to go against the grain, and some people are too shy to bring these things up. We're not saying that we all share the same values. One kind of ongoing debate basically in the group is some people are more radical and more into direct action than others, and obviously being this brand, being this official society, we have got an image and a reputation to upkeep.
Yeah, it's funny how people react to the name Conscious Consumer, because I think they've got this idea that that you want to be kind of better. It's kind of a value statement. It's kind of saying I'm conscious of what I'm doing and you're unconscious.
Yeah. Really, my idea of them is just they're a bunch of hippies, really.
They all seem very nice and they work very hard.
I almost look at these conscious consumers as sheep.
My opinion of them is that they're doing a good job.
I don't really have much of an opinion on it.
I've heard that they're quite active in trying to get people to stop buying Coca-Cola.
Leaving aside all the human rights issues and all that, which is, obviously a major, major part of our argument, one of my key things about Coca-Cola is the branding thing, We're getting, already we've got bombarded video screens in the lighthouse with insurance adverts, and that draw your eye, and with MTV screens or whatever. I don't need a video screen in a bar. I'm in there to meet my friends. I also don't need to be bombarded with Coca-Cola symbols in a place that's supposed to be free of this sort of thing. It's a university. It's a place for education. It's not a place we are being marketed to. And I notice this. When you arrive at university in Freshers Week, what do you get? You get flyers and flyers and flyers and flyers and flyers. I think it has been a quite, low-profile campaign, because until we started campaigning on this campus, not that many people knew about the boycott. I think these boycotts are just not very publicised.
Boycott Coke, responsible for murdering Colombia, murdering union workers in Colombia.
The motion was that Kent Union outlets shouldn't sell Coca-Cola.
It went from it went from an article to sort of general campaigning, putting the posters up, to then the petition, and all of a sudden then the AGM. Then it looked like a real reality.
I presented it, Dan seconded it, and then we had a huge amount of very angry people.
You had people on a round table with loads of Coke bottles that they had brought deliberately, and they were giving out anti-our motion sort of thing, leaflets and stuff like that.
We were on the left and they were on the right of the room, and politically.
Exactly. You had a very, very clear left-right divide.
Something a friend said to me as well, was they got the impression that people weren't taking the issue so much on board. It was more the fact, look, we can't let these hippies tell us what to do.
We felt quite like it was quite aggressive.
It wasn't like that. The result was really good. 70 people against 120. I mean, I was expecting a landslide, 200 against 5 or something.
It was just so heartbreaking to hear everyone's replies to what we were trying to say.
What really hurt me was just the attitude of the kids. We're telling them all the bad things they've been doing, like, you know, environmentally. You know, look at all the environment problems we've got at the moment. Coke can't help it, but also, you know, the fact they kill union members and don't allow a union. And all because but what about freedom of choice?
It wasn't very well explained to the student body, and that's why they didn't get on board with it.
I drink it, but on the other hand, I know there are problems in South America and many other countries with Coca-Cola and with the creation of Coca-Cola. So I feel a little bit guilty, but still I drink.
Consumers are going to buy what they want, and if few students running around campus saying don't buy anything isn't going to do anything, and a day won't change anything. So I think it's well intended, but just not executed, and no idea with how it relates to what's wrong with Coke as opposed to Pepsi. Is one worse than the other? I don't think so.
I don't agree with what Coca-Cola are doing. I think the way to make them listen is to stop buying their products.
I mean, Coke has a place in a certain kind of cultural milieu, which gives it a symbolic value and which confers different kinds of meanings and statuses and so on and so forth on the Coke consumer. If you look at the documentation that's produced by Hospitality, for example, I mean, it refers almost explicitly to students as customers.
Yeah.
If you think about the kind of ways in which they justify the developments in the university, part of the rhetoric is about exactly fulfilling and meeting the demands of the students as consumers. And so the idea goes out that the power that you have as a student is the power that's dependent on your ability to spend your loan in the appropriate places.
I think it's a good idea. I don't think it'll work because I don't think anyone cares.
I don't know what apathy means. You see, apathy. People seem to me to be very energetic in pursuing their own interests. But apathy normally means they're not pursuing the interests I want them to pursue in the way that I would like to see them pursue them. And I think the idea of a sense of disempowerment, or rather of powerlessness, which is worse because they never had the power in the first place that way, in that conception. I do think that students feel more powerless now in terms of determining the conditions of their own lives, in terms of their understanding of their ability to change the conditions in which they live. I think there's much more fatalism around. Yeah? Nobody fails. Everybody just succeeds differently.
Consumption is the problem of our planet. I think that, you know, we're consuming too much. We have to reduce consumption and also think about what we're consuming more.
Conscious consumers. Sorry. Can we edit that bit out, please?